More than 2/3 of the planet is covered by oceans. The ocean produces at least 50% of the planet's oxygen, it is home to most of Earth's biodiversity, and it's a main source of protein for people all around the world. Not to mention, the ocean is key to our economy, with an estimated 40 million people being employed by ocean-based industries and more than 400 million people setting their sights on the sun, surf, and sand annually. World Oceans Day is right around the corner, a good time to take a look at the major roles that this vast body of water plays in our lives, but also how it is a crucial part of the weather and climate system.
The oceans are a great moderator of the climate, and they moderate the climate in multiple ways. First of all, the seasons that we experience are a lot less extreme because of the ocean. The oceans can absorb a lot of heat without changing their temperature very much, unlike the land surface. So as a result of the oceans, our summers are somewhat cooler and our winters are somewhat warmer than they would otherwise be.
Through vital ocean currents, the north-south temperature gradient is also moderated quite a bit, with heat getting transported away from the hotter tropical regions toward the cooler polar regions.
Of course, they do contribute to the climate system and can enhance some extremes. For example, we wouldn't have hurricanes without the oceans, and we wouldn't have precipitation without the oceans. And that's it. Precipitation is generally a good thing, but sometimes we get too much of a good thing. So ocean's really key part of the climate system, but a lot of the work it does is in moderation.
Despite all of these benefits, the ocean is now in need of support. While it's hard to see from the surface, it turns out that this great moderator has been taking one for the team for a long time.
Right, we're asking a lot of the oceans to absorb so much heat associated with global warming, and it's by and large been a good thing that the oceans have been able to do that. It would be heating up the land and the air quite a bit more.
The oceans have warmed several degrees over the past 100 years. Warmer water right at the surface is not a big problem, but this warmth is now penetrating to great depths, leading to more ocean heat content than we have ever observed before. Heat stored in the ocean causes water to expand, which is contributing to global sea level rise and also might be a key player in rapidly intensifying tropical systems. The extra heat in the oceans is also having a huge impact on ecosystems. Aquatic species that are motile are able to move toward cooler waters to stay alive, but not all organisms are able to move.
The most dramatic impact, I think, and most troubling impact that warming of the ocean is having is on coral reefs, right? They kind of like it warm to begin with, but we've really increased the temperature quite a bit so that we're seeing a lot of negative consequences for coral reefs, mainly the bleaching, which is when the corals lose their symbiotic algae, which gives them their color.
As more and more carbon dioxide gets added to the atmosphere as a result of fossil fuel burning, the carbon cycle gets disrupted, of which the oceans are an important part. Oceans store about 1/4 of our CO2 emissions and 45 times more carbon than the atmosphere. But when they take in too much, it can lead to acidification.
When carbon dioxide goes into the ocean, it turns into an acid, carbonic acid, and that makes the ocean more acidic, it lowers the pH, and that can have negative consequences on the ocean.
Oceans face other pressures from human activity, such as overfishing and runoff-related pollution.
I like seafood and I enjoy it, but it's not an inexhaustible source, and being more mindful of sustainable sources of seafood would be good. Also, reducing pollution of the oceans is important. I would say the most important form of pollution, or the one that has the most negative impact, is excess nutrients. So this would be runoff from agriculture. This is also something farmers don't want. They don't want to be losing nutrients from their soils to go into the ocean where it can have negative, harmful impacts. It's a loss of nitrogen for them Reducing that effect, and it's not just nutrients, it's also the nitrogen that goes into the ocean that causes problems there, comes from wastewater treatment plants, comes also from fossil fuel burning. So anything that we do that manages the amount of nitrogen and phosphorus that gets into the ocean will help.
It turns out that a lot of things we can do on a personal level to live more sustainable, environmentally friendly lives will also greatly benefit the oceans. It's a way to make them more resilient and also a way to say thank you to these great moderators that are combating climate change every single day and are doing more for us than we realize. For Weather World, I'm Ben Reppert.